Rock and roll. Adam?
What was, anybody have a big takeaway from this morning? I know Steve said he wanted to run through a wall after listening to Mike's been known to make somebody want to go through a window before.
I got one that really stuck with me from Claudio, and that was, not everyone deserves the best version of yourself. And it's sometimes we get that confused because we start becoming the best version of ourselves, and we want those people to adapt. And sometimes it's time to move on from those people. So love that, Mike. Thanks again for that gem.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everyone again for being on time and taking some time to go hang out with the sponsors. Be sure to, again, do that all day. What we did here today and what we will continue to do throughout the rest of the day, and then for VIP tonight at the Cardinals game, is not possible without them. Many of them traveled from far away in order to make this happen. So as we go into the next round of sessions, I'm really excited about this next individual coming up on stage. Her and I got connected back in 2021 around the same time that I had actually got connected with Luke. And we met for coffee. She was building her marketing agency, and I was obviously building mine. And I was really impressed by just the way in which she went about the methodology behind how she was working with her clients, and the methodology behind how she got the messaging across for her clients. Because as running a marketing agency and working with all of these clients, I know one of the biggest issues that companies have is brand messaging. And especially when they outsource and they work with an agency, or they have a freelancer, or they bring on a new marketing person in their company, they struggle to get the message across the same way in which they have internally. So I'm really excited for Holly Reardon to come up and give this next presentation. Let's give it a hand for Holly, and welcome to the stage, Holly.
Hi, y'all. How we doing? Good? I think I'm right in the... There we go. Good morning. So I'm Holly Reardon, owner of Hapacity Marketing here in St. Louis. And I am so thrilled to chat with y'all today about how to craft a positioning statement. We're getting down to the foundations. It might seem a little easy and basic to go down that far to the foundation, but like Adam said, so many people mess this up, and I'm just so excited that we can talk about it today. So before we jump in, I'm going to take you on a little detour for when I started my business 3 years ago. When I launched my business, my website was like a net thrown far and wide, targeting everyone and anyone. All businesses need marketing, so why niche, right? So I thought. I desperately didn't want to turn anyone off, but it did the opposite. Even as a marketer, I blended in. I became reliant on referrals who already knew of me, and unfortunately, pigeonholed myself as the budget-friendly choice. So that took me on a turn, and it wasn't until I sat back and reflected on what I wanted my dream business to look like for me to change some things. And that clarity is what led me on the journey I'll share with you today. I've learned that a brand is much more than a logo or a catchy tagline. It's the soul of your business, the promise to your customers, and the very essence of what you stand for. And that's how you stand out. So I want to hear from the audience. Is anyone a fan of Dunkin' or Starbucks? Raise your hand if you're a Dunkin' fan. What about Starbucks? Okay. So I'm from New England, from Maine. So I feel like I need to choose Dunkin', of course, because Marky Mark, Tom Brady, and all the others. But yet, I choose Starbucks. And why is that? Because of positioning. They're both they're two big brands offering nearly the same products, yet their positioning, how they put those products out there, how they market them, and who they market them to, is very different. Let's start with Starbucks. So Starbucks has the get in, spend loads of money, stay a while approach. They've coined it as the third place. Not home, not work, but somewhere in between. They offer premium pricing and premium products with a focus on sustainability and specialty drinks. Whereas Dunkin', they have the get in, get caffeinated, and get the fuck out approach. With bright and streamlined stores and uncomfy seating. And they have this focus on speed, affordability, and efficiency. So, moral of the story here is two big brands offering nearly the same products, yet their positioning is very different. Now, we can use this same exercise for individuals too. Any of you are an influencer or a content creator, thought leader, raise your hand. Great. So, who can name a popular singer? Anyone? Taylor Swift, okay. We have some men who are very upset about that. No. Who can name another one? Lionel Richie, okay. I don't know the other one. Zach Bryan, okay. Well, actually, those are pretty good examples. You can see how they have different styles of music. Their lyrics are quite different. The way they show up online, their target audience, very, very different. And that is positioning. So let's move on. So a lot of people are afraid to niche, like I was, because you feel like you're turning people down. Turning down money. Who wants to turn down money? Not me. But remember, niching isn't about confining yourself. It's about defining yourself. It's about being clear. So what is a positioning statement? So here's the quick and dirty. A positioning statement clearly states who you serve and what you can accomplish for them. That's how simple it is. It's your differentiator among a sea of similar products and services out there. It makes it so you're the obvious choice for your audience. And it's often not glamorous, it's clear. So the way I like to think about it is that your brand is a ship. Your positioning is a brand compass. You might want to ask, why the hell do I need a brand compass? And not just because it looks friggin' cool, but also because here's why it's important. Number one, it offers direction. It guides all of your marketing and branding efforts. Number two, it offers focus, narrowing down and prioritizing your target audience. Number three, it offers differentiation, and that's a hard word to say. It makes you the obvious choice for your audience rather than just another brand. You stand out. And lastly, it offers confidence, because when you're so clear on who you serve and how you serve them, it leads to absolute confidence. You wouldn't go to a doctor who wasn't confident in their abilities, right? Can you imagine? Yeah, I messed up my ACL. Can you fix this? Well, I think that would not be very good. Without clear positioning, you risk becoming like a diamond in the sand, nearly invisible, despite having an excellent product or service. But if you get it right, like Apple did with its simplicity, or Tesla did with its innovation, you can carve out a place in the market that's uniquely yours. And now for the flip side. So without a clear positioning, number one, you face lost identity. No one will know who you are, what you offer among a sea of similar products. You won't stand out. Number two, wasted resources. You'll spend all this time and money trying to communicate what makes your brand special, and no one will get it. Number 3, reduce trust, because consistency breeds trust. And when your positioning is unclear to your audience, it appears inconsistent. And as a result, your audience, they won't buy. And number 4, lack of confidence. Like I said before, when you're unsure about who you serve and how you serve them, how can you be confident in what you're doing? This reminds me of a little store back in my small town of Maine. They sold tattoos, ice cream, wedding dresses, and night crawlers. Nice. Confused, maybe even grossed out. So are their customers, and maybe yours are too. So we're gonna get a little woo-woo. Before we jump in, I want to help you craft your brand sanctuary. And what does that mean? It's understanding who you are at your core, personally and professionally. People forget that positioning isn't just random, it's intentional. It comes from a founder's own vision, values, passions, commitments, all those things. And today, we're gonna uncover that, what those things are. So, I want you to get beyond what you think your business should be doing, because should suck, and get into your truest desires for your business. Because, like Luke said previously, you're gonna burn out if you are not passionate about your business. And this is the way that you can do so. So, Adam, can I have your help giving some of these papers? You're totally fine. So I have a little worksheet here that will help you take notes as you go on. And I was supposed to give it out ahead of time, but here we are. All right. Got it? All right, so as they're passing it out, I want you to close your eyes, and they might have to wait for you, but I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine you're in your dream workspace. Close those eyes, everybody, close them. This place is a representation of your authentic self, your passions, and your ambitions. Look around. Who's in the room with you? Are they mentors, team members, or mentees? Or are you by yourself? Listen closely. What do you hear? Is it the hustle and bustle of a busy city? The chirping of birds? The sounds of waves crashing? Or the tapping of a keyboard? Reach out. What can you touch? Is it the smooth surface of a modern desk? The soft grain of a wooden table? Or maybe the blades of grass beneath your fingertips? Take a deep breath in. What do you smell? Is it trees from nature, freshly brewed coffee, or perhaps the musty pages of old books? And now think what you're actively working on in this space. Is it a passion project, a collaboration, or something that challenges you? Hold on to that image and absorb the feeling it evokes. Now, finally, open your eyes. This sanctuary you've just visualized is a reflection of your ideal self, your dreams, and your ambitions. As we proceed, remember this vision and let it guide all of your branding decisions. So now let's talk about values. And this is where the sheet comes into play. Values are often overlooked, but are critical to branding. This isn't just about what you do, but why you do what you do. These are based on your own morals and your belief system, and they're non-negotiable. It's about the legacy you want to leave and the impact you want to have, whether it's you yourself or your company. These values should come across in everything you do or say with your business. And your personal values should align with your company values as well. So ask yourself these questions. What was the running theme in my brand sanctuary? What are my core values? How do I want these values to show up professionally and personally? What do I want to be remembered for beyond just a product or service? Because your values, they can be a magnet attracting the right customers to your brand based on their beliefs. So can someone give me their brand sanctuary and how it impacted their value selection? I saw you raise your hand. Are you- On the spot. Do you want to go or do you not? It's like a game show and you're like, beep. Wait, what? Okay. Can you give me an example of your brand sanctuary and how it impacted your value selection? So what's your values?
So our values is appreciation, integrity, workmanship, and I'm a banner in our festival.
Just can't remember them, that's all. No, it's okay. What was your brand sanctuary?
Brand sanctuary.
Yeah, where were you in the vision? Who else wants to go? Do you want to go?
Yeah, I was in the apartment in the movie Big.
Yes.
With the trampoline, we want to make like fun, like Becky Queen of Carpet style commercials and stuff. So just some sort of fun palace is where I was. I was in some sort of
Fun palace. Okay, and what's your values? How does that relate? Like, pick a value from that.
our value is just helping people create the best life for themselves, creating like these mini moments of joy and those little memories that stick with you, but aren't that grand in the grand scheme of things. But they are like what life is made out of.
Ooh, I love that because like it's fun, it's memories, it's doing something for the sake of doing it, as you should. That's awesome. That's a good example. Oh my gosh, get him up here. All right, great. So let's move our focus away from values to identifying our target audience. Remember, when you try to target everyone and anyone like I did, you end up resonating with very few. So consider this. Instead of how can I reach as many people as possible, think how can I reach fewer people? And I bet a lot of you are a little bit scared about that. I get it. Because it's way better to really, really resonate with a few people than kind of, sort of, barely resonate with a whole bunch. And if there's one thing that I've learned from my experience, it's that it's not as much about who buys and more about what that experience was like. Think about it. The clients and customers that you enjoy, that make your work fulfilling, do you notice how they often share your values? They want to have fun. There's a synchronicity, an ease in communication and understanding. This isn't coincidental. This is clear alignment on values and goals. And I want you to remember this as well. Just because you've identified a target audience to serve doesn't mean that you won't attract people outside of that description. It might be aspirational for them, or they just like what you're doing and they want to be a part of it. Additionally, just because you desire to serve that audience doesn't mean that they believe in the work that you do. They may not value it or want to pay for it, and that's okay. As long as those values stay strong, you can pivot to a different target audience. And get beyond just saying, okay, well, I'm targeting, 18 to 30, for example. Really focus on those behaviors of those individuals. Demographics are great, behavior is even better. So can someone give me an example of a really great client? What does a good client look like? What are their values? Jeweler? You would think, right? The guy should actually love his, person he's marrying, but that's it's a real thing. I believe it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And now, who can give me an example of a bad client? I'm going to choose you, Luke, because you raised your hand of a good client. What's a bad client? Ooh, yep. That's a really good one. So, and I share that. One of my big ones is ambition. As a marketing agency, I was so tired of getting clients who would come on and say, yeah, well, so we've been doing marketing for years and we just lost our previous vendor. Can you do exactly what they were doing? Okay, no. I want someone who's ambitious, they want to go outside the box, because that's important to me. So think about what that is for you. Okay, so now that we know what kinds of clients or customers we want to serve or don't want to serve, let's clarify how we're doing it and what makes us different. So this is your differentiator. And remember, how you do it is more about your distinction than exactly what you do. Because we could have another jeweler out here that does what you do, but you probably do it differently. So what's that differentiator? So these questions should help you dissect your unique offerings. I have a list here. What services or products do you offer at the baseline? Beyond the service, what distinct elements set you apart? Do you possess any unique insights or wisdom about your industry that might give you an edge? Are there personal experiences that provide you with a unique vantage point in your field? Are there specific educational qualifications, skills, or certifications you hold that could differentiate you? See, I knew I was going to struggle with that word. Do you have any systems, processes, or methods that make you unique? Remember the Starbucks and Dunkin' example? They offer nearly the same products, but their positioning is quite different. Think about what that is for you. All of us probably can list a few competitors in our head, and we know what they're doing well and what they're doing wrong. But what is that differentiator? Why are you the obvious choice to your audience? So who can give me an example of their differentiator? Who wants to go? Yes, we got you. Okay, upfront and transparent approach. I like that. And do you find that other people in your industry or companies don't do that? Okay. All right, I got it. So your young, late 20s women don't need to call their dads every time they need help with their car service. That's good. All right, I love it. Let's move on. So yay, the reason we're all here is to craft that positioning statement. So we've laid the groundwork, and I've got you 3 scripts to play with. Remember, the words you choose matter. But by the way, your first draft is going to be incredibly shitty. But it's not written in blood, so it's okay. You can change them later, and you will 1,000,000 times over. So in these scripts, you need to be able to answer these 5 things: who your target market is, what their challenges are before working with you, how you solve their challenges, what their outcomes are after working with you, and why this work is even important in the first place. So again, I want you to think of it this way, going back to your target audience and their behaviors. For a lot of us businesses, our main, why it's important answer is to save time and to make money. That's great and all, but why? Why do we want to save time? Is it so our client can actually get a lunch break for once? Is it we want to make them money so they can take their family on a trip to, I don't know, the Gulf Coast? Whatever it is, get clear on what that ultimate why is, and that's again going to relate a lot with those values. If the values are fun, if that's a really big one for you, how does that translate? Why is it important? How do you achieve that fun? Does that make sense? Now, what time is it? Okay. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to write down a positioning statement. If we don't have enough time, really focus on that final, like that third script. And at the end of these 3 minutes, I want to hear a script from one of you. Starting the clock now. And feel free to talk to your neighbor, bounce ideas off of each other. It's networking. Come on. Focus on that third one if you can, but if you can get them all, even better. It's gonna be probably something you're not super proud of at first, and that's okay. It's a start. One more minute. Okay, that's 3 minutes. Who's got a third script ready to read for me? Ooh, okay, here we go. Ooh, I love that. What is the life they lived before starting their business? I love that. And that was a really good first draft, by the way. Like, Great job. Ah, it's all good. Does anyone else want to go? Give it a turn? Sure. I'm just obsessed. These are great. Awesome job. So, to end it here, I want to remind you that positioning, it's not glamorous, it's clear. And when you are thinking through your positioning, really get clear on who you serve, how you serve them, what that outcome is, and why it's important. And remember that positioning is all about being the obvious choice for your audience rather than just another option out there in a sea of similar products and services. And with a final note here, I want to share a very, very brief story that when I first started out, one of my mentors said to me, Holly, it seems like you're wearing a suit coat that's 3 sizes too big. AKA, I was shrinking myself and staying small. And that led me to think, you know what, I'm getting in my own way. Let's go bigger. I challenge all of you to go big with your businesses. Don't stay small. And this is especially for the women out there. Be your true self. Really lean in all the way in, both feet, and kill it, because you can. And when you reimagine your brand's positioning statement, think of me, let me know, and I'm cheering you on the whole way. And that's all for today. Thank you.